Hello, everybody, and welcome to RoboHead for Designers. My name is Joseph Oman, and this webinar is going to show you, the designer, how you can take RoboHead and customize it to make it meet your needs for the type of work that you do. RoboHead, by default, is geared more towards project management, but there are ways that you can take the platform and make it more your own so it's suited more for design type of work and accessing your work as a designer versus maybe having to sift through different projects to access your work instead. This session will show you some of those initial customizations that you can make to the menu pane on the left hand side of the application, as well as some of the columns and pages that you work off of within RoboHead itself. We'll also talk about how you can choose the best menu that works for you. There are several workspaces within RoboHead, so a big challenge some people meet sometimes is finding the best space that works for them. So I'm going to show you some of the options that are available to you so you can make the best decision and find that workspace that works for you. We'll then wrap things up by going through how you can create some unique filters on the My Work page. So, for those of you that prefer to work off of My Work, and we'll see that in a little bit, I'll show you how you can create and manage some of the filters that are there for you to quickly access the type of work that you need in the way that you want to access it. A couple of things before we get started. Please use the chat within the application to ask any question and engage. Um, for more entries to win prizes for the user conference, please review us on G2. See the lobby info desk for more information there. The recordings for each one of our sessions will be available after they conclude, and you can just see the agenda for access to those. We're going to start off by going into RoboHead and showing you how you can customize the menu pane that you see on the left-hand side of the application. In the bottom left, you're going to see a sprocket icon right here. And when you click on it, it will allow you to choose the different menus that are going to be displayed. It doesn't cut off your access to those items. It will just take that menu away from your view. So if there are some of the areas in the platform that you just never go to, then you can uncheck the boxes for those and they just won't show up in your view when you go to log into RoboHead. You can also choose the order in which these menus will display for you. So if you wanted the dashboard to appear at the very top, followed by the My Work area, things like that, you can hold and drag these menus into whichever order you prefer, and then click on Apply to save your changes. These customizations that you're making are all going to be user specific. So by making them, you're not going to be overriding or disrupting any of the changes that one of your teammates has made. And these changes are also saved for your next login. So you won't have to go through the effort of making these customizations every time. RoboHead's going to remember what your preferences are and ensure that every single page that you work off of is going to be customized exactly how you need it to be. Now, when you're working with different pages in RoboHead, you're going to see what's called list view on a lot of them. And list view is very similar to a spreadsheet where we're going to have different columns and rows to use to access the different items from that page. So here on the projects page, I have in list view different columns that will break down basic details about the projects that I have access to. By default, there might be several columns that are going to be displayed for you that you just don't need to use, and that's okay. So there's going to be a lot of information being tracked in RoboHead, and not all of it is pertinent to you. So to take away some of that extra information, you can click on the sprocket icon here in the upper right, and then uncheck any of the columns that you don't need to see while in this view. This is another one where you won't be overwriting any of the changes that other people have made, and these will all be saved preferences for the next time. In addition to choosing which columns are displayed, you can also choose the order in which they will read from left to right. So by holding on the header, I can make the project type one of the first columns that I read when I'm looking at the information on this page. Wherever you see list view, you'll have this functionality available to you, and each page can be customized differently within RoboHead. Now, in addition to the list view, you'll have some other view options available, and this will be something that you're going to see within other areas of RoboHead as well. And you might prefer like a calendar view format to something more over what we see here in a list kind of format. So feel free to explore some of those options that are available to you there as well. And with the calendar views, you have the ability to customize how the information is going to be displayed for you. So if you wanted to see the information in its duration, or just the start dates, just the due dates, or a combination of the two, you can certainly do that on the different calendar views available to you. Now, wanted to show you some of the other menu options that are available to help you decide on which menu is the best workspace for you to be using while you're in RoboHead. In addition to the projects page, which we can use to access the tasks that are assigned to us for those specific projects, you also have the dashboard, which is a way that you can quickly access the tasks and reviews that are assigned to you, but it offers more of like a visual workspace versus the rows and columns and things like that we see in the other areas. This is a customizable workspace as well. So if you click on the icon here in the upper right, you'll be able to choose which metrics will be displayed for you at the top. So if I don't really need to focus on any project information, then I can double click to remove that metrics from my view. You can also customize the reports that you'll need to use. So any overdue tasks or reviews can be easily retrieved right here from the dashboard. Click on save to save your changes, and then it will create that customized workspace that's more of a visual that you can use. And this is all saved and user specific. You also have the My Reviews area. So if your design work focuses exclusively on just the review components in your projects, then My Reviews page will be an ideal spot for you to go to access any of the reviews that you've created or reviews that have been assigned to you. From here, you do have a thumbnail view, which gives us more of a visual of what we're reviewing to go along with some basic information about the review itself. But you do also have a list view option to go with here as well. So if you prefer to go that route, just know that you can customize the page just like we saw earlier by clicking on that sprocket icon here in the upper right and choosing which of those columns specific to the reviews you want to see while you're working on this page. To wrap things up, I wanted to show you the My Work page, which some of you might already be using and already familiar with. But for those of you that aren't, the My Work area is a great way for you to cut through any of the project information that maybe you don't need to see and go directly to the things that have been assigned to you. So whether it's a task, a review, or maybe it's a to do that you've created for yourself, you'll be able to access all of that information right here in just a couple of clicks without having to navigate to a specific project and access it that way. You're going to have several filters that have been created for you by default for things like all of your open work, which would be tasks, reviews, and to dos. You also have a filter for all of your open tasks. So it'll just again cut through all the project details and take you to just the tasks that have been assigned to you. You have the ability to delete or modify any of these existing filters that have been set up for you by default. So if there are a couple of things that you just don't use, you can remove them from your view or edit them to get them to suit your needs. You can also create more filters for yourself. So if this is going to be your preferred workspace, then you can create some filters that are more customized to the type of work that you're doing. So maybe things that are going to be due within the next 60 to 30 to 60 days, excuse me, things that are on your radar but don't need your immediate attention. You could create a filter for things that you can address when you get a minute. For example, in this example, it's going to pull up all tasks and reviews that are due within the next 3 months. You could also create something on the opposite end of that where you need to drop everything. So this could be things that are overdue or things that are maybe due tomorrow. If you haven't already started working on them, you could create a filter that is customized for things that aren't started with a due date that's within like the next 1 day. Um, that would be something that you might find helpful. And then you could also create something more specific to reviews if that's more of the work that you do in RoboHead. So in this one here, I've created one for my upcoming approvals that's focused on just reviews that are of that request approval type that are going to be due within the next 7 days. Just some ideas that you can maybe use to get started with some filters that you can create for yourself. But again, that's the beauty of these filters, that is that they're for you to use. So build them however you need them to be. As you can see, they can all be color coded here as well. So feel free to explore some of the options available there. And there isn't a limit on the number of filters that you can create for yourself here. So feel free to test some out and delete the ones that don't work for you. Wanted to thank you all for attending this session. Our upcoming session is going to be presented by Cheryl Goki, and it's going to be from simple to complex changes that we've made to make RoboHead work for us. Thank you again for your time. Have a great rest of your day.